Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca and I'm a Canadian-born citizen of Canada.
And this is Sushil, an immigrant from India, but yeah, I'm a citizen too now.
Yippee! So I've been looking at YouTube a lot lately and I was seeing again and again videos on express entry, like express entry this, express entry that, and all the magic number for IELTS, like the 8777, and even I did a video a couple months back with our mutual friend Ganeet, who's a RCIC, Registered Canadian Immigration Consultant. But I still find we both have friends in India, and they are having trouble getting into the draw. Like so many people apply, and they bi-weekly they take a draw like randomly. So
it's not random, but yeah, I think there was a draw just yesterday, and the score was 450.
Wow, that's high.
It's very high, and especially if your age is more than 33, 34, forget about it.
Yeah, and the IELTS must be pretty difficult to get that.
IELTS is pretty difficult. We have already talked more about it, so...
Even I would find it difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm wondering, what do people do, if they can't get express entry, they tried and they can't get into the draw? What do you recommend them doing?
Well, I was just reading somewhere that there are more than 60 ways you can come to Canada. More than 60 ways.
Oh, wow.
So if you leave express entry alone, there are 59 more ways to come to Canada. However, we are not going to talk about it because we don't know all the ways, and it will going to take at least a day or two.
Which none of us have time to listen for.
Yeah, maybe hopefully we'll cover that in times to come. So you can actually, there are a lot of jobs, job sectors where employers in Canada are looking for people all over the world. So you don't have to be an MBA from a top college. You don't have to be an engineer from IIT. If you are good in what you do, for example, trades, right? Trades is a big deal. We both know, I think people who are in Canada know how much demand there is for trades in Canada.
Yeah, I have guy friends in trades and cousins, and they're paid very, very, very well.
Yes.
And there's lots of openings all around BC and other provinces in Canada too.
Yeah. So for example, so to help people understand what trades is, especially outside Canada. So trade pretty much covers positions like, for example, an electrician, not an electrical engineer, an electrician who... So in India, for example, people who have done ITI and Polytechnic, like diplomas, electricians, who actually do the work. Working with their hands, exactly. Heavy duty mechanics, machine operators, automotive body technicians, right? Plumbers, huge. Oh my God, plumbers, they make so much money, like $200 an hour, right? $100 an hour. Yeah. Welders.
Yeah.
So. And these people earn a lot of money. I know someone from outside Canada, especially in Southeast Asia, you see walking down the streets, you see a big shops, not small shops, and people are welding. They're not even covering their eyes.
Yeah,
they're just doing it.
Right, we have more safety standards in Canada.
Yes. So if you want to work in Canada, right, you cannot just come here just because you have done welding. You might be a good welder, but you need to have an education, and you need to have certain certification, so that employer is able to hire you, so that you are meeting the standards in Canada. So
yeah, in Canada, I know my cousin just got his red seal in being an electrician. So red seal is the standard across Canada.
Yes.
And so it's all standardized and that they meet certain qualifications, and there's mentoring that goes on.
Yes,
and it takes a few years.
And the good thing about Red Seal is you don't have to be in Canada to do that. You can actually enroll yourself when you are outside Canada, and you can go through that process, and You will be connecting with mentors, with people who will help you get recruitment. Maybe you can get actually a job offer. Because to complete Red Seal program, you have to be in Canada.
Okay.
But once you start your process, once you actually, start, okay, for example, think of yourself as an employer, right? In Canada, you have a candidate who has done his education, who has work experience of 2 years, who can speak decent English. You don't have to be like very good in English, but let's say you can speak 5.5 level, 6 level, that's good enough. That means you can understand instructions, you can supervise people, you can clear the interviews. Plus, you have also enrolled yourself in Red Seal. That means you're making an effort.
So what's the online program called? Or we'll put like a link.
Yeah, we can actually put a link below. Red Seal program, like a website you can go to. There's several agencies who do trade certification programs in Canada. One of the programs, so it's called Trade Consultation Program. So Red Seal is a part of it. So that means that their trade skills and training are recognized in Canada, basically.
Okay.
So there are a lot of programs, a lot of professions which come under Trade Seal. For example, automotive body technicians, bakers, cabinet makers, cooks, welder, plumber, carpenter, refrigeration technician, machinist, iron worker, electrician, crane operator, like the list goes on. And all these jobs, they pay like really good money, like more than $25-$30 sometimes, like if you're an experienced person. So you don't need to lose heart. Like, you don't have to be very good in English. You don't need to have masters to come to Canada. If you have done studies in trades and if you're good in what you do and you have decent English, you can actually land a very good job in Canada. You can also qualify in express entry through Federal Skilled Trades Program.
So there's so many programs that is like so complicated. I don't envy people trying to learn about each program, which one is best for them.
Yeah, but Federal Skilled Trade Program, basically the cutoff is very low for Federal Skilled Trades. You need to have only 2 years of work experience. It doesn't have to be continuous. And if you have, I think, CLB level 5 in speaking and listening, and 4 in reading and writing, that's good enough.
Oh, nice.
So you get a job offer, have 2 years of work experience, you have your education, there you go. Come to Canada in 6 months.
Cool. So trades are in demand throughout every province in Canada. But there's also between Alberta and British Columbia, there's a new Keystone pipeline coming in,
So you guys must
which will have tons of welders and just need lots of employees.
So many jobs. I heard somewhere, I saw in news, like there are going to be at least like 10 to 20,000 jobs will be created, and most of them will be in trades.
Yeah.
I don't think Canada has the capacity to fill all those positions by themselves. So all you people outside Canada who have a dream to come to Canada, this is the right time for you. Start researching about it. We will send some links over.
Yeah.
And
and I also wanted to talk a bit in French because there's like you told me there's some the same for trades is also
Francophone program.
The Francophone program. So let's see. I've spent some time in France and Belgium, so
and plus
it's
French
still
is
embarrassing to
Canada is a bilingual country. Right?
Oui, donc Canada c'est un pays bilingue. Donc pour promouvoir le français, il y a un programme pour recevoir des francophones qui parlent français ou une deuxième langue de française dans le pays africaine, par exemple. Donc, pour ce programme, c'est plus facile d'entrer, de travailler au Canada parce que en dehors de Québec, on n'a pas besoin de tout impact sur le marché du travail. In English, that's the LMIA, which is like a big deal. So the LMIA from what I understand, is like requirements that they have to advertise for Canadians, and it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, just need to show the labor market impact on Canadian job market.
So if you speak French and you're going like outside of, like you're not going to be working out in Quebec, like outside of Quebec.
In French communities.
Yeah.
Outside.
Then you don't
can be British Columbia, it can be Alberta. So if you know a friend who is good in French, or is from, a bilingual country where they speak French, it is a good program. Don't have to, the employer, they have made it so easy for employer to hire people in Francophone program. You do need to prove your French. I think you need to get 7 in TEF exam. And you don't have to live in Quebec. I've seen a lot of people in my experience who are working in British Columbia on Francophone program, and it was so easy for employers to hire them.
Yeah, because we are a bilingual country, then in the federal government, like everything has to be in French and English.
Yeah.
So we need more people outside of Quebec that can do that. It's a good opportunity.
Yes.
So that's trades, and is there other ways to come to Canada?
Trades, Francophone actually pretty much covers other professions as well.
Oh, okay.
So it can be hospitality, it can be, just customer. No, it has to be 0 AB category. So 0 AB category, which means like a supervisor level job. So it's totally different topic, but I'm pretty sure like people who are watching this video, they're pretty familiar with 0 AB category thing. So you have to be in those positions to qualify for that exam.
But we'll put a link about the Francophone program too.
Which you can
lists the requirements.
Yes,
and everything.
exactly. And now moving on to another program which doesn't require you to have great IELTS score, is you can so recently I was going through a program in Ontario. So like in Canada they have legalized marijuana.
Yes, in October last year.
Yes. We're
only the second country in the world that's done, or I think like not very many countries have done that.
Uruguay is the old one. Yeah, but let's not distract from the topic. So there's a huge demand for farming in marijuana sector, and a lot of greenhouse farming is going on. So Canada is a cold country, you cannot do farming like throughout the year. However, with marijuana you can do that throughout the year, and Canada just doesn't have enough supply of general farm laborers to work in those farms. And in Ontario they have actually declared that it's in demand job occupation list now. So even though it's a C category job, doesn't require you to be like very well educated. Like if you are high school and you have experience in farming back home in your country, you can actually land a job here. And if you are looking to move to Canada permanently and get a PR, just need to get 4 in IELTS.
That's amazing.
So basically, I think 4 in listening and speaking, and 3.5 in reading and writing. So not even 4.
So you don't need to study, basically.
No. See, it is difficult for people, I know. Especially from North India, where I come from Punjab. Like a lot of people, like they have huge craze of coming to Canada. They sometimes, they are also subject to cheating, because there's so much urge, like they want it so bad that very often they fall into the hands of wrong people. They take advantage of them, and they don't even know what the program is. So guys, okay, I'll talk in Hindi so that people can understand. So जो भी लोग कनाडा आना चाहते हैं, फार्मिंग का एक्सपीरियंस है, 1-2 साल फार्मिंग करिए आपने, आप 12th पास हो, आइल्स में ज़्यादा नहीं, 4 लाना है, लेट्स से 4 लाना है, इन लिसनिंग और स्पीकिंग में 3.5 रीडिंग राइटिंग में, कुछ मुश्किल नहीं है. शॉर्टकट के लिए मत जाओ, थोड़ा बहुत पढ़ो. दिस इज द प्रोग्राम. आप आ सकते हो 1 साल बाद, आफ्टर 1 year you can get actually a PNP in Ontario. You can get nominated, like you will be eligible to apply for nomination in Ontario
after 1 year working.
Yeah, and getting like 4 in IELTS. And then you can actually bring your family and kids over here as well.
Nice. So like I know general farm labor, like they want these a stable workforce, because like lots of it's really common for young people to go work in farms for the summer, like especially Quebecers, like young Quebecers, they come sometimes to BC.
I
for the
know
summer.
it's Canadians, they just don't, millennials, they don't stick to one job.
So we covered the trades, general farm labor, which was interesting because it's a Class C job, and it sounds like it's pretty easy to get in if you can.
It's but you know, there are no shortcuts in life, right? You should have a genuine work experience, and you should be able to. And you know, just guys, think about it. Like, if you cannot get 4 in IELTS, why do you want to come to Canada? It won't work out for you.
Yeah.
Right.
But it gives like some hope, because express entry is such like a stressful thing.
Yes, exactly. So we are not encouraging like someone who has done MBA and work in a bank, like suddenly, okay, I'll do farming and I'll come to Canada. We are not encouraging you guys to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there is hope for people. There's a lot of hope. And then there is another program called truck driving, right? So I'm recently looking at and reading in news that it's in-demand job occupation list in so many provinces. Atlantic provinces, huge demand. New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia. Even Ontario has recently declared that it's in-demand job occupation as well.
Yeah, truck driving is actually a very well-paying job. Like, you earn a lot of money. I have
it's a tough job though. It's a tough
family
job.
that have worked in that profession for a while.
Yeah, so many immigrants I've seen, like tremendous stories. Like, they made good money. Then later on they invested in other business and real estate. But yeah, truck driving is.
So what do you need? What requirements do you need to drive a truck? Like, come here.
So you need to have a heavy-duty truck license in your own country, right? You should be able to show that you were employed by a transportation company, that you have driven for at least a year or 2, right? That is very necessary. The safety standards are very high.
Yeah. So
in Canada, and you need to pass exams, written exams and driving test. So it should be, like, you should have a good experience. Otherwise, it won't work out for you. Especially if you have driven in countries like European countries, or other Commonwealth countries like Australia and New Zealand, Middle Eastern countries. Your high school pass and you can score like 4.5 in IELTS, you will qualify for most of the program, which will lead you to permanent residency. However, I think to land you a job offer, you should have a good English, so that you are able to to appear in interview.
Yeah.
Employer is able to understand you, recruiters are able to understand you. And if you have an IELTS score, and when you are applying for a work permit, visa officer is more likely to approve your work permit if he sees that, okay, this person has some command over English, as compared to someone who is high school pass but doesn't have any IELTS.
I see.
Yes.
So these 3, so that we have the 3, the trades, the general farm labor, and the truck driver. So each of these programs, you need a job. Like, you need to offer of employer.
Yes.
So how do they do that? How do people do that when they're not in Canada? Like, how do they?
Well, one way is through Google, right? Go to the job bank. There are several websites like Job Bank, Work BC, Work Alberta, Indeed, Monster. LinkedIn is also a good source where you can connect with employers and recruiters. However, the success rate is very low, especially when they know that you are not in Canada. Because in order to work in Canada, you need to have a work permit, or you should be a permanent resident or a citizen. Otherwise, they won't even consider you. And they see their address on their resume, and oh my God, with this resume, don't even talk about it. Like, guys, you need to hire someone to help you writing a resume. I know there are like a lot of videos how you can write a Canadian resume, Google, but if you are not so confident about it, there are so many recruiter agencies. They will take $100 or $150 from you, and they will actually help you build a resume, which will help you land a job.
Yeah, I've seen some resumes of people in India, and it says like their religion, like it says their caste, their religion, it has their photo, it has
their hobbies,
their sex,
their hobbies, even pictures.
height.
They show their pictures.
Yeah.
Like no, in Canada it's illegal for an employer to ask what your sexual orientation is, what your religion is. They can't even ask you what your age is. You cannot do that.
Yeah.
So and they don't want to know your ethnicity, whether you're Indian, white, black, Chinese. They don't care, and it's against the law. So rather than, if you are not so confident in writing a resume yourself, there are tons of recruiters on LinkedIn, tons of recruiters who will just work an hour with you, charge $100 to $150, which is not a big money.
Yeah.
It is not big money.
And then I also heard this, like there's virtual phones that you can like phone from a Canadian number somehow.
Yeah, it can work. I'm yet to see it work for anyone. But yeah, it might work. See, eventually the employer will know that you are not in Canada. Right? And some employers and recruiters are scared.
Yeah.
That, they don't want to be in trouble because not everybody has the knowledge of immigration, right? So with these programs, if you do the research and talk to the recruiters, okay, hey, I have Red Seal, I have trade certification, I have IELTS, right? This is my education, I have done the evaluation, this is my truck license, this is my employment certificate. And then you show, okay, this is Francophone program, this is AIPP program, this is this program, like it's in-demand job occupation. They will say, okay, yeah,
and
it is actually a government program. So they're more likely to hire you or listen to you.
Yeah, because they know like what you're talking about, and they'll have more trust at.
Yes. So I think we have pretty much covered everything. Anything else you want to talk about?
Well, I just think it's exciting that like there's a way to get around the express entry, because I know it causes people lots of stress, and it's cool. Like I think in India, like these types of jobs are not really considered like
high-paying jobs.
They're not considered very good jobs to have. But here in Canada, it's different. It's nice to know, like
I know some welders and plumbers. They are making like more than $100,000 per year.
Yeah.
Right. My God, like you cannot make that much money in working in a bank or a financial institution.
Cool. Yeah. So we just had an idea to end the video with. So we talked about that. Oh yeah. Leave your questions and comments down below, and we'll answer them. And we'll
also leave lots of links, because I think the information which we give is not very precise, because we wanted to
conversation.
We just wanted to have a conversation and give hope to people who want to come to Canada. And express entry is not the only way you can come to Canada.
Yay! So our idea was to talk about something like culturally Canadian.
Yeah.
And we were talking today in the car about barbecuing. So I think most people know what a barbecue is. Like it's sort of an outside.
Especially if you have seen Russell Peter videos, right? Russell Peters, he has made fun of his father, like how he wants to be a Canadian suddenly in one day by having a barbecue. That's like a shortcut to become a Canadian.
But it's true. It's true. Everyone loves having like patio and barbecue in the backyard, and
and summertime is coming.
Right? Yes, so that's sort of the quintessential thing to do in Canada. So I recommend
all the new immigrants
to have a barbecue and to make you don't even have to make meat stuff. You can make roasted everything these days, mushrooms and you can have
tofu,
paneer paneer on the barbecue. That would be really good.
And you can invite your Canadian neighbors to join you, right? Barbecue, it's a good way to assimilate into the culture, right?
Anyways,
okay guys, leave your comments. What do you want to see in future? We can talk about a certain program in details, and we would love to help you come to Canada. And all the best. Bye.